Hello, everybody. It is the team call for Tuesday night, and tonight we are talking about events. All the different types of events that happen around the world. There's so many different ways to host events, to do events, and so we're just going to cover as much of that as we possibly can tonight. So this is all about how to share Isagenix with people, both as a customer as well as a distributor. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. If you guys want to unmute, that would be great, and we will kind of talk about the different kinds. So if anyone wants to speak up about the event that you have done, let's talk about what you liked and what you didn't like, and then we'll go over all kinds of other events. Would anyone like to go first?
Well, you know how Angie and I are. We follow everything by the book, so
and I love that.
we try to make it duplicatable. So that's kind of what our thought process was. But actually, you know what, we hosted that event with Sarah and Gary over at their house, and it went rather well. I think we invited, I don't know, you send out 90-some invites, and how many do we have? Probably 20, 25 people show up. So
right, perfect. That's right on track.
Yeah, it was a good night, and we'd followed everything by the book. So we wanted to make sure we make everything duplicatable. That's kind of our goal and our thought process with hosting. So
all right, great. So let's talk about that, Damon. How do you feel that what you did was duplicatable? I'm not questioning you. Like, what did you do that's super easy for somebody else to duplicate?
Well, I think just following the step by step, the videos. We shared our stories. Gary, one of our Isagenix users, is a pharmacist, so he did a great job explaining the chemicals. It kind of all blew us away, but I just think it was us sharing our stories, going right into talking about our favorite products, and then went right into everything. So.
Yeah, perfect. And that's it. When you watch those videos, which you're listening to right now, Kelly, that's really, what they want you to do is just really, truly share your stories. What I loved with what you guys did at Jill's house, I thought was absolutely fantastic. And that you had a really good turnout. Do you remember how many you guys all invited and how many showed?
Oh, probably, I bet total, because we actually had two separate parties. So one started at like 6:30, the other one started at 9:30. So I would say total, probably 15 people showed up.
Great. Great. Do you have any idea how many you invited?
You know what? I invited probably 10 people, and none of my friends showed.
Okay.
Again, I drove 3 hours to get down there. So
right,
all my old, we've moved away 6 years from Indianapolis now. So it was kind of, it was kind of reach, I haven't talked to those people in a while. 3 or 4 that were interested, and that was about it. So.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's very common when you don't live there and you don't have the current relationships, that they don't actually come. Now, if you go back again and you re-advertise that, they might show up now. But the first time around, usually not. So you stick with the areas that you're in, or you tag on to something else. With what you did with Sarah and Gary, absolutely fantastic. And here's the rule. You have to over-invite. It's a third of the people are going to say yes, and a third of the people are going to show up. So by you doing 90, you were right there. That's you just couldn't have done any better because you're right there. So that was fabulous. So you have to over-invite. You can't invite 10 and expect to have 5, 6, 7 show up. To go crazy. All right, and you just shared stories. So what kind of comments did your guests have? I know you guys enrolled like crazy from that event. Can you give any stats on what happened?
I think I think overall, like I said, I think we signed up 4 people that night. We had a lot of positive feedback. It was just this 2. Yeah, Gary and I signed up 4, so maybe 6 total signed up that night. But
I think so.
Yeah, and then I think it was more concern. Like people we had some health problems, so they wanted to do more research and go that far. The feedback we had was phenomenal. The people that were there, we probably had 8 or 9 people that were in Isagenix that were there also, that were kind of sitting around the room telling their stories. So, but yeah, I think overall it was, good positive feedback from people.
Awesome. Awesome. Social proof. So you had a ton of social proof, and you had a decent amount of guests, and the majority of the guests there actually enrolled. And that probably came from because they like, trust, respect you guys. They were brought by friends, most likely. They liked the stories, and they probably hit them in a way that it's about them as well. So
Right.
what were your stories about? Do you remember?
Well, you know, obviously with Jessica and her own fitness store, or whatever you call it, fitness gym. That was a phenomenal story. Gary telling just from the side of it that he's never seen anything like this being a farm. You know, it was good. Jill even told a story, you know, and Jill, it was kind of weird because we had people in their 40s telling stories, people in their 60s telling their story, and kids in their 20s telling their stories, and it related with everybody. I noticed a couple of the guys that were in there that were old. When Jill started to talk, they, of course, you know, she's a little cutie, but they definitely like leaned forward and listened to her. You know, it was they could relate. I thought that was big. You know, everyone there was about my age, 40 to early 50s. I think relate with me, you know, and then the younger kids that were there I think were just excited.
Right.
Just end up by being everyone relating to, you know, somebody there. I think that was huge. And that's what Jill said. She goes, you know, really, we need to have some 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all come so they can tell their story so we can relate to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I think you're right on, because when you're younger, you look at the older groups like the 30, 40, 50, 60s, and you're like, someday that's going to be me. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know if, you know, the younger guys think this way, but younger girls will look at it as, that's going to be me someday. I want to look like that. I want to feel like that. I need to be proactive. Or I know for a lot of my friends, when they hit their late 20s, 30s, that's when their bodies started to feel the damage that they did when they were teenagers.
Yeah.
And so they may possibly be in that state. I don't know. Hey, Marisol and Sarah, thanks so much for joining us. I even had a teenager tell me over Thanksgiving, I can eat anything I want because my body's so young and functions so well that it's not going to affect me, and I'm just going to poop it all out. I'm like, whoa, you are talking to the wrong girl for that kind of comment. So maybe your guys were kind of thinking that already. And then when they are older, and especially when you have someone as beautiful as Jill and vibrant as her, and they just look at her and they're like, oh my gosh, you do this? Well, I just want to be just like you, and my parents are not like you. Right? So yeah, perfect. What did you do as far as samples and giveaways and food and things like that?
I think we gave away, did we give out a box of e-shots? We gave out a box of e-shots. We did samples. We cut up all the bars. We had Hydrate all ready to go. We had 3 flavors of bars and 2 flavors of shakes, and then we had a Hydrate.
Okay. Cool. So I just kind of added that up, and you probably divided it amongst different people. So you probably had maybe $20 of food.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because people, yeah, Sarah and Jess.
Because everyone kind of brought something. Sarah brought stuff. Jessica brought stuff. Yeah.
Perfect.
It wasn't very much.
Yeah. You know, and Angie went out and bought plates and shot glasses, and, you know, simple stuff. So nothing major.
Right. So $10 in cost maybe. For each couple, and all of you benefited from all 6 of those enrollments that happened. So your Beebe went crazy, and cycles went crazy, and then of course you popped out a lot of consultants that weekend too. So you got the $50 and the $100 coming out, so you definitely made your money. How much time did you spend on the event, the actual event?
2.5 hours, maybe.
Well, the event we presented was maybe
what we presented was maybe a half hour. It wasn't long. You know, it wasn't
short, quick.
From when we got there to the end by 2.5 hours, but that was an hour talking to everybody at the end. Everyone stuck around and talked, so it was nice, you know.
Good. Build that relationship. Fantastic, Damon. Did you have any supplies, enrollment forms, ISOLOC books, any of those supplies?
Yeah, all that.
We just had it in.
We had enrollment forms. We had the better, best, the good, better, and best sheet.
Yeah, we didn't have that out.
Oh, we didn't have that out.
No.
Did we have any catalog?
We did have the catalog.
We had a catalog out.
Catalog in order form. That was it.
Catalog and order form.
Okay. Beautiful. Duplicatable.
Yeah.
Successful and duplicatable.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. Does anyone have any questions for Angela or Damon? And Aaron and Marisol, I think you were there too, weren't you? Were
Aaron.
they there? Yeah.
Aaron drove up. Yes.
Fantastic. Good. Questions about his event, of how he had that set up or anything? Do you guys all have the visual as to how that happened? Go ahead, Kelly.
When you say that you did it by the book, what reference did you use? Was it a video or by the book? I see.
She keeps cutting out.
So it's just cutting out, but
Yeah.
the video we used
Yeah.
was the video.
Yeah. She asked if you used a video to help you. Was it to prepare, Kelly?
Right. I just wondered what he meant by the book.
Yeah.
Oh, we followed those two girls, that training we did.
Oh, Angie set in on a training at in Las Vegas.
I'll type it.
Yeah, I don't remember. Hi. Sorry, I'm
Hello.
on the other side listening. It was those awesome sisters that presented. I literally wrote everything down and just followed everything they did.
You can find it in Game Changers Biz, and I don't remember what we had it under, but I would search for Celebration 2017 or Celebration, and it's the one with Tanya and Trudy. So Tanya Kirkpatrick and Trudy Maples.
It's how they do their parties, and they make it super easy and simple. And they had the video, I think, was the Transform Your Life video, is what we showed. And I think we showed. We did not show the building the business part. We did not show the wealth creation part of that, just because our crew, this wasn't what we were going for. So we just did this with Transform Your Life video was when they showed. But they basically laid it out for you. We had a dry erase board. I mean, I did everything that they told us to do. Like, that was it.
And they made it so easy that it's duplicatable from them. It's duplicatable for you. It's now for your team. And they've been doing that. Kudos.
Yay.
Cool. All right. Great. Okay. So what we're talking about tonight are events. So I want to talk about the different types of events that you guys have held. So I know you guys have, actually all of you, except for maybe Janine, has held an event. So who would like to go next about one of your successful or one of your events that you walked away from and you're just like, that was great? All right. Christina, you want to talk about yours? You've got another one coming up. You're muted though.
Yeah, sorry, I was eating. I was trying to finish eating. You know, we've been doing more vending displays and so forth with the Derby girls because they're all back in season, and it's been kind of nice just because obviously, you know, we have everybody's attention, and there's generally over about 100, 150 people at each Derby bout, and so it's just more the consistency of being out there. And ironically, we end up having one girl sign up who we never thought would sign up because she did Whole30, she did paleo, and she was like, this is all I'm going to use. I'm never going to try your guys' stuff because I love my Whole30. Well, as we all know, is Whole30 is not a lifestyle. It's more of a diet, we'll say. So she got to the point where she plateaued and she wasn't losing any more weight, but she was actually it was making her sick. So she came knocking on our door and she's like, you guys are always out there. Anytime I have questions, you're willing to answer them, you know, but the science behind it and whatnot. And so she's jumped on board and she's loving it. And like I said, you know, it's more about being consistent and just being out there. So we've been excited about that. I've had a couple other friends from just the consistency, again, of doing displays that have shown up to Derby that aren't Derby people, but that come and watch Mary Kay that are like, hey, you know, talk to me more about this Isagenix. So it's been nice because obviously, you know, we're not sitting in a room with 25 people and whatnot, which would be nice as well to get them all in a room, because being outside, it's kind of hard because they're distracted and whatnot. So obviously I'd much rather have them in a room just to be able to give them all the information in a half an hour than every time they drive or skate by or walk by, just giving them little tidbits. So it's been a little bit more challenging to really get their focus to, you know, it's been once or twice when we see them and then they're like, okay, now I'm really interested, send me some information. So, but that's just the way the derby world kind of is. They're all little, they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even some of the girls that are in their 50s. So we're excited because we're seeing it come along this week. And actually, we have a huge event that's going on. They're having a huge derby training. So I don't know if you guys know much about derby, but there's flat track and then there's bank track. And we've just been hitting the bank track and then a couple of flat track leagues, but all the leagues are getting together this weekend to do a huge training, and we get to be there as one of the vendors. They actually came to us asking us specifically to be there for the nutrition side, which for us was a compliment because, you know, they've been watching us and they're like, hey, we noticed that you're at all the Derby Dames and we want you to be there for nutrition purposes, to be able to answer questions, also supplements. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have kind of like what Damon and Angela had, is we're going to have out the samples, we're going to have the Recover, the Hydrate, e-shots, and then we're going to have some sticks and so forth for samples to hand out, as well as, you know, just have basically the amp line out there, and then all, you know, the lookbook. And the lookbook, we got that at Celebration, and that thing has been awesome. Like, I just started having a conversation with someone and I hand them a lookbook, and I think it was Susan Sly or somebody was like, you should have a lookbook no matter what. No matter what, that should be the first thing that you hand to people for them to look at. And actually, funny enough, we did a vending holiday thing over at Stephanie's church. That was 3 weeks ago? And that's what everybody kept gravitating to. So we had all these samples on the table, and we had, you know, tons of flyers, and we have all the product, and everybody kept coming to the lookbook, just flipping the pages, and they're like, oh, what's this and that? I'm like, well, these, you know, so try to explain to them with the samples that we have out, go ahead and try it. Oh, wow, this person's aged really well, you know, and I'm like, okay, get your head out of the book. So that's been a really big key. I think that if you don't have the lookbook, that's something definitely to get. And then, like I said, we're really excited about this weekend. And then next weekend, we also have another vending table that we're going to have out, a huge derby event as well. So now that the season's in, that's our main focus, is more doing the vending tables and getting out there. So we haven't really done too many in-house events as of yet. So we're excited.
Christina, doing an outdoor vendor event is completely different than doing a house event. Can you give us a little bit more of a layout of like your visual of your table, what you have on the table, and some of your conversations, because they're quick.
Right, exactly. So basically, you know, the table is just going to be, what we do is we have the tablecloth, we have the banner out there, and then we, on one side of the table, we put the amp line, especially for the derby product, the derby girls, they're more about the amp line, so we make that a little bit bigger and better looking in a sense, with put more product samples out. And then we'll still have the weight loss side on there, you know, for Ionics cleanse and then the shakes and whatnot, but not as much as the weight loss cleanse, because we've just realized that everybody that is doing derby, I think we've got about 12 to 13 girls now that are doing Isagenix. They're all on the amp line. So everybody's talking about the amp line. So we have that out there. We have the lookbook out there. We have samples of the Hydrate, and then also we generally have the Power out there for them to try in little cups. So we have, like, I have 2 jars that I bring, and we have ice in it and samples, and then we have little cups, the little Dixie cups, so they can come and try it. And really, when it comes to derby and a vending situation, it's all about timing, because you have basically, when they're playing derby, no one's really out there unless they're hungry or just want to kind of look around, but it's the quarter times and the half time and so forth. So we have 4 opportunities to really talk to them. And most people will just kind of walk by, and it's about standing up. And as soon as their eyes make contact with either me or the table, I immediately, hi, I'm Christina, I'm here, with Isagenix, and, and just kind of, and then they'll kind of engage, hi, this is my name. And I'm like, so are you interested in, and then we have the banner there. And so I'll say, are you interested in any, and I'll name all 4 of the items off, and they're like, well, yeah, I kind of work out. And I'm like, awesome. Okay. So you work out, and the banner kind of always gives me that open door, because I'm like, oh, so which one of these 4 are you interested in? So they have to answer it. They can't just say, well, none. Well, yeah, that's not even happening, So most of them, it's all about workout. So as soon as they start talking about the workout and say, I know you only got a few minutes, but Isagenix, and we kind of go into within a 5-minute commercial, because that's about the time that we have with those people, is about 5 minutes commercial. And I just kind of really talk about the amp line and what it can do for you. And then usually Mary Kay's sitting there, and she jumps in and starts talking about what the amp line's done for her. And we usually keep it within a 5-minute time span. And then because we're at a vending table, it works out really well. Is if I'm talking to someone, she'll kind of take over to finish it, because she is the Derby girl, and since she is a Derby girl, a lot of people are like, oh, well, she's the Derby girl. So I'll start it, get the engage in, and then as someone else is walking up or whatnot, Mary Kay will take this person, and I'll take the new person. And we kind of do like a little circle. It's kind of funny to watch us, because we're so in sync together. It's just like she'll just complete my sentence as we kind of transition people. One time we had 5 people at the table this last one, and it was just the perfect audience, because I'd start them, she'd finish them, or we're both saying the same thing at the same time to all 5 of them. So it's truly about getting their attention with the time that you have, and it's usually within 2 to 5 minutes.
Oh, same, perfect, Christina. So great. So that was a really good visual. So are you handing out samples of Hydrate, or are you doing samples of anything else?
We're doing samples of Hydrate. We also have samples of Power, and then we have the brownie bars, the protein brownie bars that we have cut up. And then also, I just ordered it. Hold on. That something else. There's like 4 things that we're having samples of. I just ordered it for this weekend.
Great.
So, but yes, we definitely have samples.
Hey, and it's an all-day event during that time, so it's about 3 hours?
I got to be there at 8, and we leave at 3.
Okay, so a little bit more than that, because these are all
Right.
day. Fantastic. So a lot of time, a lot of people. How are you following up with the people? How do you get their contact information?
So something I just signed up for today, ironically, which I was going to talk to you about, but I'll just kind of share it now. For me, it's about follow-up and consistency, which is something I want to talk about next week when I'm covering for you. It's really about, like you said, it's like people come up and we have the flyers, and then they fill out the flyers, and then, because we have all this paper, and so I'm kind of doing more of like a constant contact type of software thing, which allows me to put people's names in and immediately gets their emails, and I'm just going to input it right away. And we're going to have my laptop there. So, because what I'm noticing is with us and being out there and having all the paper, a lot of people are filling them out and you can't read their writing. And, and then time you get home, you're like, the phone number doesn't work, the email's rejected. And if you have 5 people at the table, obviously you can't write all 5 people's numbers down. So we have a tablet, and there's a software that I actually just signed up for last night. And basically it's going to allow us to put in their name, address, and email, and then we'll start shooting them out some emails. Hey, it was a pleasure meeting you, however we're going to put on the email, which we're going to come up with before Saturday. And that's how we're going to stay in contact with them, because like I said, for me, it's all about follow-up and consistency. And if you don't have that, then you lose the clients. And like the vending thing that we did at the school, I followed up with those people. There was like 6 people. I kept following up with them, and there was nothing that ever came back from them. But then after 3 times, I stopped emailing them. And I think that that's where you just got to keep going and keep going and keep going, but doing it in the right way. So that's why we're going to do the software and see how it works for a month.
Okay, great. And yes, Damon.
2 questions. Your banner. Christina, what banner do you use?
It's the tall one. Okay. It's the tall one that says the pillars of what Isagenix does: weight loss, performance, energy, and health, and healthy aging.
Okay.
So there's also a tabletop too, Damon. So what we did here in Phoenix, and you guys may even want to do it in Indiana, is we all chipped in a couple of years ago and we bought the tablecloth and the banner, which usually if you buy together, you can get a discount. And then we just swap it between different people. But there's also a tabletop banner.
All right. And then what program are you using for your emails?
So I just got onto it. It's Infusionsoft. So it's something that you guys all, I don't know if you guys listen to Susan Sly.
Yeah.
But Susan Sly, I mean, she's amazing. So she uses Infusionsoft, and I just listened to one of her podcasts last night and about it. So I was going to sign up for it and try it out for a month and see how it works. And then depending on what type of outcome I get, I was going to share with everybody, because obviously it's a little bit, it's cost each month, but I wanted to see, okay, is it worth for everybody else to do? But I think it's going to be essential. It's going to be a great tool.
Nice.
But you really got to work it first. You got to put a lot of work into it, but once you get it all together, it's just seamless. So I'm going to put it all together, see how it works, pay for it for this first month, and if it's start getting great results, then I was going to let all you guys know about it.
Great. So, and how much is that? Do you know the cost?
So so last night she did a special and it was $99. It's generally Infusionsoft, yes, whoever wrote that. It's generally at $199, but she did like I said, like a Black Friday thing or Cyber Monday thing for $99. But they kind of implemented that they're going to keep it at that price for the year. So I don't know yet if it's going to be $99 for the rest of the year or if it will go to the $199 each month. But she's doing like a whole. I haven't gotten anything on it last night. Last night we literally listened to the podcast, signed up, and now we're just waiting to get all the information. And it was from 7 to like 8:30 last night. So like I said, I haven't gotten anything on it, but they did make it sound like it may still be cheap for the rest of the year. So I don't know for sure or not yet.
Wonderful. Now here's some alternatives. That's fantastic, and I can't wait to hear about it. Some alternatives to that, if you have Isopulse, and if you either take out your phone or your laptop if you're at an event, and just go to the My Contact information, have them fill out that information right then and there, and then before they close it, add in whatever kind of drip, or ask them what kind of drip they want. Do they want monthly? Do they want daily? Do they want quarterly? And if you don't get a chance to ask them, and you may not, just pick something that you think that they're going to appreciate. You can also Facebook people right then and there. You guys know how to do the Facebook friends immediately, or have them friend you, have them take out their Facebook, and they find you, and then you accept their friendship. Because if you friend them, they may or may not friend you back. I highly recommend, as soon as you do the Facebook friend, take a picture immediately of their profile, so that then you can go back and send them a private message after the event and start that communication. Also, just even take out your phone and go to your phone settings, your information settings, and say, hey, I'd like to stay in contact with you. I send out a couple of newsletters or a couple of emails or drips, whatever conversation you have. And do you mind if you give me your information? And then just have them type that in right away. Or I'd like to send you a quick video. I've been really enjoying speaking to you. Can I send you a quick 3-minute video? Great. Whip out your phone and either go to Isopulse or your contacts. You have them put their information in, and then when you get a chance, send them a quick video. I've never really had anyone say no.
Oh yeah, and with the Derby girls, a lot of them don't have their phones, and because we tried doing that with them with the whole Facebook thing, but because they're so in and out, that's why it's been a challenge for us. Like, oh, I'll come back to you, or because it's like, well, let me find you on Facebook. So that's why we're trying to figure out a different way to go around with it. It's like, okay, well, just tell me your email real quick and put it in the system. So, and then their name and whatnot. So that's why we're trying a different angle, because the Facebook thing, like I said, it's like, oh, I'll come back. I'm like, yeah, no, do it now, But no, everywhere else I've gone, we've done that with the Facebook thing, and it works. Like when I was at the Phoenix thing with you, everybody I met, I'm like, oh, let's add each other to Facebook, and everybody loved it.
Right.
I was showing people how to do it.
Right. It's intriguing. It's interesting. It's new. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for that, Christina. Who has questions for Christina and doing outdoor events?
I'll find out about the price as well. I'll email and see if it's still the $99 for the rest of the year. That's what it sounded like it was going to be.
Great. Thank you for that, Christina. And I'm excited for your Saturday. I might be able to join you if you want me to.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because I won't be far from there either, and I end at like 4 or 5, but we'll figure that out.
Well, it's actually going to be in Mesa. This one's going to be in Mesa off of Broadway.
And it's 8 to 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see Eric Rory this weekend.
Oh, I'm so jealous. He's amazing.
I know, right? Okay, so we're going to give you some really good thoughts and prayers and put all that out there. All right, who else has an event that you want to talk about, or do you want to ask about any particular type of event? I've done them all. So anything that you have coming up or that you want to do or anything like that, just ask. Anyone? Yes, go ahead. What's that, Aaron?
So we got one coming up, I think it's next week. And it's funny, sorry, I closed the door. We just signed up for it, so we're going to have a table, and it's going to be, I think there's 10 of the local businesses in the town that are going to set up for this. And I'm not sure, should we try to sell anything? Because they're kind of asking us to try and sell something. So we thought about bringing you're shaking your head no, or?
Well, it's a little tricky, and I've tried to sell throughout all of my events, and it can be a little tricky if they're not familiar with Isagenix. Now, if they are, and maybe they need a box of e-shots or a shake container or something like that, and it's nice for you to have it handy. But for the most part, really, truly, you're an information booth. But there's also the question on if you actually sell right on the spot, do you need a sales tax license? And in Arizona, you do. So it's a hassle to get that, and then there's an expense, and then you've got the going back and forth on the monies and all of that. So we really, truly don't sell very much. Now, I am going to be selling Friday. I'm doing an event for our school. It's a craft fair event, and it's just parents that own businesses or people that know people situation, and we're going to concentrate on ionics and cleanse and Isodelites, because we've done everything else. We've done bars and shakes. We've done it all for over the 5 years. And so I am going to bring extra ionics and cleanse that I can sell right away. But we're still having to come up with the issues. And Linda and I are figuring this out. How are we going to do credit card? Do we have them take it? I've got my Square. Most people won't have cash. They may not have a check. And so it gets a little tricky. But if you want to, take a few things, and I would definitely first of all, concentrate on the product that you already have on hand, and you don't have a ton of time, but don't go crazy ordering things because they may or may not sell, right? And so do the stuff that you already have, or do things that go pretty easy. Shakes, ionics, cleanse, hydrate, bars, and Isodelites are all general good things. Like Christina can go crazy on the fuel line and probably have all of that go. But in general, if you don't know your clientele or if it's a mix, always stick with the basics.
Okay. The only thing we were going to try and sell was going to be the, I think it was just the, what do you call it? The Hydrate Sticks. We were going to
That's great.
like a ribbon around the
Yeah,
water. There's a golf
perfect.
fountain. And
Yeah.
something
So
like
yeah,
that.
you can, and I know Marisol's very creative. So you can take like a really cute basket or cup or something, and maybe like 2 sticks or 3 sticks and wrap them in a ribbon, or put something else fun in there. I'm trying to think of things we've done in the past. I'm not creative. I'm very basic. So I'm extremely duplicatable, but I'm very basic. And so just kind of come up with some ideas. I'm sure you're going to find a ton of ideas on Pinterest. And if you search in Game Changers Biz, there's going to be a lot of previous events that people have done. I know one thing, I was talking to Angie about this yesterday. Lisa Corinne, I'll have her take a picture. If you're going to do a ton of events, and Christina, this may be something you want to do. If you're only doing 1 or 2 events, you don't do this because it's time consuming. But Lisa made a pinwheel, and it's a wheel that you can spin, and then it will stop on different things. It actually even makes the sound as it clicks through, because who doesn't love to spin the wheel, right? So you spin the wheel, and then there's a picture of a particular product that she can give away right at that time. So a Hydrate or an Ionic stick, or I think she had a fuel or something like that. I'll have Lisa do some kind of video on how she did her wheel. But that's, again, if you're going to do it on a regular basis. I think someone said something about the ribbon. I would buy a bar, e-shot, and Hydrate. Yep, $5. Tie them all together in a Christmas ribbon. Or you can do a hangover cure, right? So you can have themes for different things. So hangover cure would be a stick of Ionics, a bottle of Cleanse, and a stick of Hydrate. Or stay healthy for the Hydrate or during the holidays. And I would do that exact same thing. Or low on energy. You could do an e-shot and a Hydrate and sell them. So you can sell all these different things. You don't have to give them away, but sell them and just create all kinds of fun little cute ribbons and things. Anna's very creative too. Are you coming up with ideas? Or you're hearting? Yeah, make stickers. Yeah, that's the important thing, because if they walk away with buying these from you and they don't have your information, they're not going to be able to contact you. So you can take a business card, and of course you guys, if you don't already have business cards, Vistaprint, or just make up your own business card and punch hole and then tie it into the ribbon. You can get a little mailing label and get your information and put that on the label, but just tell them, hey, my information's on the label, so don't throw away the label or the bottle or whatever it may be. But if you separate your information from the product, it's very possible that they won't put that together for you, especially if there's multiple vendors. Yeah, Office Max does cards. You can get cards made really inexpensively very fast. Vistaprint's really fast. Cool. I always talk to vendors. So sometimes events, you don't know for sure how many people are going to attend, and some are extremely well attended and some are not. But those vendors, for us, they're exactly the same as a customer, right? So go around and introduce yourself, make relationships with vendors. And if it's a situation sometimes with like holiday bazaars and crafts or churches or something like that, where you're going to mix with the same vendors over and over again, so you build these relationships. Those are perfect. But you can always take a tray, and so actually take a tray or a plate that's very sturdy and put Hydrate cups of Hydrate on the tray and take those around to the vendors. Hey, it's a really super long night. I just wanted to give you some energy for the night, or some brain focus, or here's some, I wouldn't give away Cleanse, but you can help with any inflammation from standing all day. Hydrate's really the best, and it's inexpensive. And give that to each one of the vendors. But you usually have more time to speak to the vendors because they're just waiting like you are if it's not really well attended. And you can get some really good conversations. Christina, I know both Christina and Anna have had really good conversations with other vendors. And there goes Anna. Just know it's going to bring you on, Anna. Anna, do you want to talk about Stephanie and her friend? From the last event we did?
Oh, Stephanie and her friend.
Yeah, I remembered her name.
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna actually ask a question about that. So I had this gal come up to me. She was another vendor, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I saw your table. I know all about Isagenix. I think she tried it a long time ago." And she's like, "Do they still have the dairy stuff? You know, I want to get back on it." And, you know, I was like, great. And I told her a little bit about it. And then I went and did her booth and, you know, showed interest in her merchandise as well. And we did connect on Facebook. I did the Facebook thing where we were friends. And then I've reached out to her a couple times and she hasn't responded at all. So I don't know how to I mean, she told me she was interested and I don't want to be super drippy, but I keep trying to drip and I'm still not getting a response.
All right, so that's the great thing about IsaPulse is you can put them on an email campaign, and if you do like the quarterly email campaign, then that's just going to happen without you doing anything. So you know for sure you're touching base with her, and when the time is right, she is another vendor and she's selling clothes. So it's very possible that she is super busy this time of the year. So with certain direct sales companies, like the makeup, clothes, candles, jewelry, they are so busy right now. We're a little bit slower because people want to go to parties. But this is their time to go crazy because of Christmas gifts. And so she could just be super busy. But if you do that drip campaign, that will constantly come to her. You can always be very blunt with people. And maybe like the second, third, or even fourth phone call or email that you send to her, and do different ways. If you have their phone number, their email, you can call, you can text, you can email, and you can private message. So use all the different methods and see which one they respond to. Because think of yourself. Do you have a particular way that you usually respond? I'm all about text message and private message. Someone calls me, I'm going to try and get back to them, and I'm going to write their information down, but it's not my typical way of responding to someone. So try it all. See what happens. And when you get to that third or fourth message, be blunt. It's like, you told me you wanted to get back in, so I just wanted to continue to follow up with you because I know it's really important to you, as it is to me as well. I love this stuff. Please let me know if now is just not a good time for you and when would be a better time. So keep the door open. Don't shut it on them, but bring back their words. Or if they didn't give you that indication and you're just like, how many times do I follow up with them? By that third time, maybe even fourth, it's like, great, I haven't heard from you yet. I'm going to assume that you don't have an interest for this right now. Unless I hear from you, I'm going to file away your information. When you're ready, please go ahead and reach out to me. If they have any type of interest, they will contact you. Knowing that you're giving up on them will mean, oh, whoa, 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 don't give up on me yet. I'm not ready for you to give up on me, but I'm just not ready yet, or I've been meaning to contact you or whatever. When you take something away from someone, that's when they react. So take it away. They really do react.
The other thing that I did, and my husband keeps telling me, like, I added her to the healthy living page right away. And he's like, oh no, don't do that, because she's going to see everything and then she's not going to be interested. And so, like, I did it with her, and she approached me saying how interested she was. And then I did it with somebody else too that I approached, and they said they were interested. And I don't know if their interest level was just a courtesy interest or, you know, if they're truly interested. But those two people that I've added, I've gotten 0 response from either one of them. So 2 different scenarios with the same response. I feel like I can't get a different response.
Well, and it's all going to be a matter of, do they have
should you not?
Do they have an interest? Not. I really highly recommend not adding someone to the page until you have that conversation with them and find out, would you like to be added to the page? And then you do your follow-ups. And the way you do follow-ups is the interest level, and always think of yourself. You know, always use yourself as an example. How long do you have an interest level 4. How do you like to be connected with? So interest levels are only really truly last 72 hours, and by then the thoughts are gone. You can bring them back, of course, and you should try, but you really want to follow up and connect with them within 24 hours, and then 48 hours and 72 hours. Susan Sly will always tell you her story, that she was contacted 21 times about Isagenix before she said yes. What she doesn't always say is it was 21 times in 21 days. Okay? So just know that, right? Think about that a little bit. And she kept saying no until that 21st day. But that person who was a friend of hers knew that she would be so good at this and that she really desperately needed it in her life that she wasn't going to give up on her. And she didn't. She's like, I know you need this. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to keep calling you. And she called again and called again and called again. Now, I mean, there's only certain people you can do that with until they get angry and mad, but think of Susan Sly. She's feisty. She could have been one of those first people to get angry and mad, but it worked, and we all have Susan Sly in our lives now. So you really just kind of have to ask a lot of questions. Is this something that you're really interested in? How would you like me to follow up with you? How often would you like me to follow up? What program are you interested? Do you have an idea when you would like to start? I just want to ask these questions so that I don't bug you, but that I'm here for you, and I'm coaching you, and we're taking care of any needs. And just kind of look at their eyes if you see them in person, and what can I do to help facilitate this? And be honest, when are you most likely going to start? You can always start earlier, but I want to make sure that we're in contact during that time. And some people will tell you, not till after the holidays. Nothing until after the holidays, because they're overwhelmed, they're spending a lot of money, they want to eat and drink food and drinks this holiday. Talk to them a little bit more, because they're just not educated on what we have to offer. Well, just so you know, if you start during the holiday time period, we can really help with stress level, energy levels. We can keep your weight at a good weight. You'll get rid of your cravings. You'll be satiated. So just know it's not something you have to wait for, and then to see how they respond. Yep. Go ahead, Christina.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts, so sorry. But one thing that Susan Sly said today, or yesterday's, but I listened to it today, was that during the holidays from November, Thanksgiving, till December 30th, it's recorded that people generally gain 8.8 pounds from Thanksgiving till the end of Christmas. So that's a statistic we can all use when we're talking to people.
Yeah. Don't be that person.
Right. Because after Thanksgiving, I think I already put on 6. So.
Yes, but the great thing is we can cleanse that sucker out.
Right.
So make jokes about it, and make jokes with people so that they don't look at this as such a rigid environment, and make jokes of, hey, I'm going to enjoy the holidays too. I may have already gained 6 pounds since Thanksgiving, but I have this secret little formula called Cleanse for Life, so I can get rid of that and start fresh every day.
Right.
Let them know you can still live and enjoy life, but get rid of it. Don't keep it on like everyone else. Why? Why start the beginning of the year much bigger than you've ever been? All right, guys. Other questions about these events or different types of events? Any particular events coming up that you want some more information on? There's lots of things to do.
For the NYKO, are we able to buy tickets up till in December, the end of December?
Yeah, because what is the date? The 11th? January 11th? Yeah, they're probably they'll tell us when tickets are on sale until, but I imagine it's going to be like December 31st, January 1st, maybe January 2nd. They usually cut off the sales that week, or excuse me, 2 weeks before, and then they allow people to transfer tickets up until the last week.
Okay, perfect.
So there are always going to be, I should never say always, but most likely, there's always going to be people selling tickets. So once you're on Isagenix Events, you can start putting the information out there. You can never guarantee that people are going to do discounted tickets. If they may not, right? We never know. It all depends on how much it's sold out. So does it sell out and the tickets go up in price? Are they desperate? You know, there's all different things. But yeah, and for those of you that don't live in state, my house is open. So reserve your room. Completely available for you. It's about a 20-minute ride, but I'm 3 blocks away from that other house. We'll just jam everybody in my car. So you're literally getting here and the ticket, and you're all set. All right, awesome. Anything else as far as NYKO or events or holidays or just anything coming up? No? All right, don't be afraid to add alcohol. That was a question I've had before. Certainly do your wine night. During your holidays, add our products to everything. We talked about that last week, but during your holiday parties, add your Hydrate. Make Hydrate drinks. Fruit and Hydrate cleanse drinks, whatever it is, but make sure you tell them what it is, show the bottles so they don't think it's just, oh, that's a great little drink. No, that's a very specific special drink. Serve Isagenix for dessert. People really don't want to eat a ton of dessert, so just having a few Isagenix out there, even cut up, is perfectly fine. And when you're going places and you want to give the host and hostess a gift, give them a little Isagenix gift. Again, maybe that hangover cure all wrapped together, maybe in a shaker cup or in a fun coffee mug or something. But anywhere you're going, use your products. Like today, and just think of all the people you come in contact with. You probably want to give them something, but it's expensive to give a lot of gifts. Start looking at your supplies and see what you can do. Come up with fun, tiny little gifts to give away. I made the what did we make? The peppermint bark shakes in little containers. My bug girl was here today. Yes, I have a bug girl. Who would ever would have thought? But I handed that to her in a cute little sock, and that was her Christmas present from me. It's just enough for one shake. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so great. Thank you so much. So you can wrap up the Hydrate Sticks, you know, just fun little things to give people, but always letting them know what you do and how you can help them and how they can just implement this into their lives. All right, cool. Anything else you guys want to chat about? I don't see NYKO in the website. We have to fix that. Oh, that's great, Anna. Yeah, just decorate for the holidays. That's perfect. NYKO, if you go to isagenixevents.com, it should be like one of the top. Let's see if I can share my screen.
I know, I wish I could turn my thing around too. I'm on the website and I don't see it. Like, this is the one with the influencers, the championship, the top achievers.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah. Oh, no. You're at contests and promotions.
Oh.
You need to go to Isagenix Events, or if you go in your back office, you can go to Manage Events. Here we go. There's tickets there. You may not have that right there if you don't already have your ticket, but go to United States, and yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
You see it?
No, I see it on yours. I don't.
Okay.
I'll have to look around for it. I don't see it. I
Yeah.
thought like.
Or this is isagenixevents.com right here. So it's going to be your first one, and then just click on it. You can do that, or you can come down just a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm there. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. And we got 42 days. Register now. It is so much fun. I love NYKO. It's a lot like Celebration, but with a little bit more information, more knowledge, not as much entertainment, but there's still entertainment. We've had everything. I don't know what they'll do here, but when we were in Dallas, we had the Dallas cheerleaders. I forgot who our singers were. There's so many different things. And you guys actually that went to Celebration didn't get quite as much entertainment as we normally did because a lot of money went to Tony Robbins. But there's usually every single day you're going to have some artist and entertainment of some kind. It's a lot of fun. All right, cool.
Use the can you use your Isabody challenge money for these events?
No. Product only, but good question. You never know though, Anna, if someone's willing to trade you, because there are different people who buy extra tickets and they won't be able to use them all. So ask them, hey, would anyone be willing to do a trade for the Isabody? You just never know. And congratulations on earning that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Love you guys. Think about what you guys want to talk about next week. Oh, Christina. Christina is on next week. What are you going to, you're going to be talking about consistency?
Consistency and follow-up.
All right. Fantastic. Great. Do me a little write-up and we'll post that out everywhere.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, you guys have a great holiday and talk to me about NYKO. The house is yours. So you guys have great, and let's do a challenge, everybody. Let's host an event. Let me look at the calendar. It's busy times, but how about everyone that hosts an event by December 17th, and that can be Zoom calls, your hosted parties, your vendor, you get an entry for every time for $100. And any type of event that you can prove to me. Oh, right on December 17th. You made it, Kelly. Awesome. So yeah, do as many as you want and just show me proof, a picture, and do a little story in Game Changers Biz on what you did and how the turnout was, and we'll do some cash. Oh, December 16th. Awesome. You guys are in it. All right. I'll post that challenge. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining tonight, and have a lot of fun this week. Reach out to other people. Whenever you have an event, you have a reason to call people.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Connections through groups. So from your home page,